What if I told you that the first hour of your day determines the course of your entire day? Most individuals wake up just in time to rush out the door, feeling stressed and already behind schedule. However, those who rise before the world stirs move differently. They think clearly and triumph quietly. Waking up early is not merely a habit. It is a powerful tool for reclaiming your peace, power, and purpose. If you do not take control of your morning, someone else will dictate how your day unfolds. The question you must face is whether you will continue to sleep through your potential or rise to embrace it. In just a moment, you will learn how waking up early can transform your mindset, enhance your focus, and cultivate true discipline. Early rising clarifies your purpose. When you wake up early, you are not just getting up before the sun. You are claiming sovereignty over your day. During these sacred moments of stillness, when the world is asleep, you tap into a power few truly comprehend, and fewer still know how to wield. This is not merely a habitual practice. It is a philosophy of achievement, a declaration that you are in control of your own destiny. The early morning presents a priceless gift: clarity. Free from distractions, noise, and interruptions, you can hear the voice of your inner self. It is in this rare tranquility that your purpose resonates clearly, as if the universe itself is whispering in your ear, motivating you to listen inwardly, discover what genuinely matters, and pursue it with unwavering commitment. Consider Benjamin Franklin, one of the founding fathers of the United States. Franklin built a life rooted in structure and purpose, asking himself each morning, "What good shall I do this day?" and reflecting at night with, "What good have I done today?" These simple inquiries, contemplated during the early hours, not only shaped his character, but also impacted the nation he helped establish. You too can pose powerful questions as you wake. These questions can guide your thoughts and clarify your aims. The morning is your philosopher's forge, where you mold your thinking, discipline your emotions, and craft your vision. Like the great Stoic emperor Marcus Aurelius, who began each day with meditation and reflection, you are laying the moral and intellectual groundwork for the empire of your life. Marcus Aurelius understood that without mastery of self, no one could hope to conquer the world. Waking early provides you with undisturbed time to plan, write, learn, and think. In these fleeting moments, there are no demands tugging at your sleeve. It is here that inspiration strikes, where your dreams transform into actionable plans. Let me be frank. Those who squander these golden hours often stumble through their day, reactive and unfocused, driven by circumstance rather than purposeful design. But not you. You understand that your life is too precious to leave to chance. You rise early, not from obligation, but with intent, and this distinction makes all the difference. Consider Leonardo da Vinci, whose journals overflow with innovations, insights, and creativity. He too rose with the sun, his mind brimming with questions and curiosity. Or think of Isaac Newton, who discovered the laws of motion, not amid chaos, but in reflective solitude. Their genius was not a coincidence. It was cultivated in the silence of early mornings that most people overlook. When you choose to wake early, you are constructing something far greater than a mere routine. You are building a legacy. Each sunrise you witness and every quiet moment you seize is a brick in the cathedral of your character. You are not simply preparing for the day. You are preparing for life. Utilize these hours to connect with your purpose. Write down your goals. Reflect on your values. Read something that elevates your mind. Sit in silence and ask yourself, "Am I becoming the person I wish to be?" Let your morning evolve into a sacred ritual, a commitment to live meaningfully today. The world will attempt to pull you into urgency and chaos, but when you own your morning, you carry a serene clarity that no storm can disrupt. So, tomorrow morning, and every morning thereafter, when your alarm rings, do not hesitate. Rise. Step into the silence, and remember that in those early hours, you are not alone. You walk the same path as Franklin, Aurelius, Da Vinci, and Newton. You too are a builder of destiny, and your foundation is laid before the world awakens. The dawn is yours. Claim it. Rising early develops discipline and fosters success. Discipline is the bridge that connects your goals to your achievements. It is the silent architect of every victory and the unseen force behind every success. There is no better training ground for discipline than the early morning. When you rise before the sun casts its first golden light, you make a decision that most do not. A choice of discomfort over ease, clarity over chaos, and purpose over passivity. In that moment, you are not just awakening from sleep, you are awakening your willpower. This simple yet profound act serves as the foundation of disciplined living. Each time you rise early, you master yourself. He who masters himself becomes unconquerable. Consider Alexander Hamilton, who, born into obscurity, was destined to impact a nation profoundly. He forged his path not through privilege, but through relentless dedication. Rising before the world, he immersed himself in study, writing, and vision. His discipline transformed a penniless orphan into a founding father. In a similar vein, Catherine the Great governed not only an empire, but also her own habits with precision. Her ascent to power was no accident. It was built on thoughtful strategy, self-control, and unwavering purpose. She understood that leadership begins with inner order, and that inner order is established anew each day. When you greet the dawn with determination, you send a powerful message to your subconscious: I am in charge. You do not start your day by reacting to life, but by commanding it. This early choice establishes a tone that reverberates throughout your hours, diligently guiding your actions. Like a disciplined warrior sharpening his blade at first light, your early rising hones your focus. You prepare your mind for the challenges ahead. You remind yourself that success does not happen by accident. It is created decision by decision. Discipline is not a one-time act. It is a state of being present in how you rise, eat, speak, and think. When you commit to the practice of early rising, that discipline seeps into every aspect of your existence. The sculptor Antonio Canova began his days in solitude, chiseling away, guided by a dedication to repetition and vision. His masterpieces were not born from spontaneous inspiration, but from consistent, deliberate effort. Yours can be the same. Consider Mary Wollstonecraft, whose writings set the groundwork for women's rights. Her mornings were filled with active thought, study, and purpose. She disciplined herself to rise above societal expectations, and in doing so, she altered the narrative of her time. Each early morning serves as a rehearsal for greatness. Every time you resist the pull of comfort and choose to rise with intention, you strengthen the muscle of discipline. This habit becomes a foundation upon which your dreams can stand. Let others sleep through their opportunities. Let others wait for motivation. You do not require permission to start your journey. You only need the discipline to rise. You may wonder, what if I don't feel like it? Understand this. Discipline does not bargain with feelings. It does not wait for convenience. It acts, especially during tough moments. It is in those moments, when you rise despite the odds, that your character is forged. Discipline is the gatekeeper of your potential. Without it, goals remain distant. With it, the impossible shifts toward the inevitable. And early rising is where that discipline is cultivated each day, shaped in silence and solitude. Utilize these hours not only for work, but also for becoming. Read what nurtures you. Write what clarifies your thoughts. Reflect on what anchors your presence. Make the morning your proving ground. Remember, those who achieve greatness are not merely talented. They are disciplined. They rise when others rest, act when others delay, and commit when others hesitate. So tomorrow, as the world lies asleep, let the quiet be your companion and your discipline your guide. Shape your destiny one dawn at a time. In the early morning, you are not just awake, you are alive, resolved, and unstoppable. Waking early allows you to maximize productivity. When you rise early, you do more than gain a few extra hours. You amplify your power in those sacred moments before the world awakens. You enter a realm of unprecedented clarity and focus, dwelling in the hour of the builder, the poet, the architect, the leader. Time undistracted, undiluted, and unstoppable. Each morning is a blank canvas. The colors are in your hands, the brush is your intention, and the image is your destiny. There is no noise, no demands, no rush, only space. Space to create, think, and execute. When you rise early, you enter a position of command. You do not react to the world. You create it. The initial thoughts you entertain, the tasks you undertake, and the first actions you execute set the momentum for the entire day. Use this momentum wisely, and you will begin accumulating victories before the world even opens its eyes. Consider the life of Blaise Pascal, mathematician, physicist, inventor, and philosopher. His most profound ideas were birthed in the stillness of morning reflection. He recognized that his clearest thoughts emerged when his mind was fresh, unclouded by the day's chaos. Or think of Anne Bradstreet, the first published poet in the American colonies. She composed immortal verses by candlelight in the early dawn, long before anyone else stirred. Amidst her responsibilities, she created this time to bring forth timeless words. Her productivity was not an accident. It was a conscious choice. The most successful individuals do not leave their productivity to chance. They design it, and the design starts at dawn. These hours are when your mind is at its peak, alert, agile, and receptive. Science validates it, but experience confirms it. You have felt that surge of accomplishment, energy, and clarity that arrives with an early start. In the morning, your willpower is intact, your mind is uncluttered, and your energy is abundant. This is your strategic advantage. Use it to confront your most important tasks, the ones that genuinely make a difference. Do not squander these precious hours on trivial matters. Invest them in building a life of meaning. Olaudah Equiano, who transitioned from slavery to become a leading figure in the abolition movement, utilized the early hours to write, reflect, and organize his thoughts. His autobiography shared truths, laws, and histories. He did not wait for the world to provide him with time. He created it, and morning was his ally. Every early hour spent with purpose is a deposit into the account of your dreams. Gradually, those deposits accumulate, yielding progress. Days turn into weeks, and weeks become momentum. Your life begins to shift, not through giant leaps, but by consistent, focused, daily effort. You are not in a race against the world. You are striving to outpace your former self. Each early morning offers you a head start. This is the path of the producer, the creator, the achiever. Productivity does not revolve around doing more. It centers on doing what matters most when you are at your best. You are never better than when you commence your day with intention, direction, and focus. Use these hours to plan, build, write, and think. Create systems that serve you. Refine your skills. Lay the groundwork for progress before distractions can intrude. Do not waste the quiet. It is your sanctuary. While others may rush into their day, you prepare yourself with clarity, commitment, and craftsmanship. You know that when you own your morning, you illuminate your path. Tomorrow, as dawn approaches and silence envelops the earth, let your first breath be one of purpose. Let your first action be one of progress. Boldly paint your canvas and watch each day unfold as your productivity rises with the sun. You are not merely completing tasks. You are advancing your vision, and it all begins in the morning. Early mornings foster resilience and strength. These early hours are not simply about rising, they are about rising strong. Each time you decide to wake up before the world, you choose resilience over ease, strength over softness, and growth over stagnation. The discipline to wake early serves as a training ground for your resilient spirit, unbreakable will, and indomitable soul. Resilience is not born in comfort. It is forged like iron in fire through consistent confrontation with challenges. And what greater daily challenge exists than the warm embrace of your bed, the enticing pull of sleep, the easy excuse to postpone your purpose? Every morning you choose to rise early, you make a powerful declaration. I am stronger than my excuses. I am greater than my comfort. This choice becomes the first victory of your day, the foundation of all subsequent victories. Consider Booker T. Washington, who walked miles in his youth before dawn to attend school. He did not wait for the world to provide him with comfort. He rose before the sun repeatedly because he understood that his strength was forged in struggle. That same spirit lies in you, awaiting invocation at sunrise. Think of Abigail Adams, the wife of John Adams, and a leader in her own right. She rose early, not merely to serve her family, but to write, study, and reflect. In times of war and uncertainty, she became a pillar of wisdom and strength. Why? Because she trained herself daily to meet hardship with readiness rather than retreat. The temptation to stay in bed is not only physical, it is symbolic. It embodies every comfort that postpones growth, every hesitation that halts progress, and every fear that keeps you small. By conquering that temptation, even just once, you prove to yourself that you can rise above. Resilience is built brick by brick through moments such as these. When you feel fatigued but rise anyway, when doubt looms but you act anyway, and when fear arises but you move anyway, the early morning hours serve as an ideal crucible for your transformation. In these hours, you are tested, not by the world, but by yourself. This test is sacred. Training yourself to win that first battle of the day empowers you to carry that strength into every other challenge life presents. Resilience is not solely about bouncing back. It is about pushing forward relentlessly, regardless of obstacles. When you begin your day by advancing into the cold, the quiet, and the unknown, you practice the essence of mental toughness. Consider the sculptor Bertel Thorvaldsen, whose commitment to his art began in early morning stillness. He did not wait for inspiration. He returned to his craft time and again, confronting the stone with resolve. Life, like stone, can be challenging, but with resilience, you do not break, you carve. Utilize your mornings to sharpen this tool. Engage in difficult tasks. Sit in silence with your thoughts. Write down your fears and face them. Move your body even when it resists. Read something that challenges your intellect. These small, repeated efforts solidify your resolve. While others may choose the comfort of their pillows and hit snooze, you are of a different breed. You recognize that greatness is not handed out. It is earned in the shadows, in silence, through unseen choices made before the sun rises. When you consistently choose the more challenging path, the higher road, and the earlier hour, you begin to change. You cease to be controlled by life and begin commanding it. You respond to setbacks with strategy, and you approach adversity with calm, as you have cultivated an unshakable core within yourself. Tomorrow morning, when you open your eyes and the bed beckons, remember that this moment is your test. Pass it and walk into your day draped in armor. Falter, and the world feels heavier. But you possess the power to choose. Rise, confront the discomfort, embrace the discipline, and recognize that with each early morning, you are becoming someone who cannot be broken, someone who endures, someone who leads. You are becoming resilient, not by chance, but by choice. And that choice commences at dawn. Early rising cultivates a positive mindset. Starting your day early transcends habit. It becomes a ritual of renewal. Each morning, as the first light cracks the sky, a gift is bestowed upon you, a fresh beginning, a clean slate, a chance to dictate how your day unfolds. When you rise early with intention, you set the tone for everything that follows. Every sunrise is a gentle reminder from the universe to begin anew. In the morning stillness, before the world disrupts your thoughts, you are empowered to sculpt your mindset. You hold the rare opportunity to determine how you will feel, respond, and lead your life before the rest of the world has a say. It is here, in these golden hours, that positivity is planted. This is where gratitude flourishes, clarity emerges, and your mind resonates with the frequency of possibility. Reflect on Florence Nightingale, who initiated her days in quiet contemplation and purpose. Amid chaos and suffering in war-torn hospitals, she brought light, order, and hope. She could not control her surroundings, but she could control her daily entry into the world, and that power stemmed from her early morning reflections. Or consider Carl Linnaeus, the esteemed botanist who rose with the sun to explore, document, and marvel at the natural world. He embraced each day with wonder and gratitude, transforming scientific observation into a lifelong passion. The early morning is more than a moment. It represents a mindset, a decision to begin in peace, lead with optimism, and exist with awareness. By choosing to rise early, you claim this mentality as your own. In these hours, you experience freedom. Freedom to journal your thoughts, to express gratitude for what exists, and to visualize what could be. Freedom to meditate, to pray, to breathe deeply, and to align with your highest self. Free to recite affirmations that nourish your spirit. I am focused, capable, and grateful. I am evolving into the person I am meant to be. This is not a luxury, it is preparation. A mind that begins in gratitude resists disruption. A spirit rooted in positivity confronts challenges without fear. And a person who opts for light at dawn becomes a beacon for others throughout the day. The manner in which you start determines how you continue. Begin with chaos and the day feels disjointed. Begin with tranquility and the day flows. The early riser does not stumble into life. They step into it with clarity, intention, and strength. Allow your morning routine to serve as your anchor. Create space to reflect, utter kind words to yourself, and reconnect with your values and vision. You do not need hours. Consistency is key. 5 minutes of gratitude, 10 minutes of focused breathing, a few pages of powerful reading. These are not negligible acts. They are transformative. You are not merely awakening your body. You are stirring your spirit. When the spirit awakens, there is no room for bitterness or complaint. You perceive opportunities and challenges, light in darkness, and lessons in every failure. While others commence their day in haste, you begin in harmony with purpose. This difference reverberates throughout every conversation, every decision, every moment you engage in life. Tomorrow morning, as the world sleeps, rise. Light a candle, open a journal, step outside, breathe in the fresh dawn air, and speak something beautiful to yourself. Contemplate 3 things for which you are grateful. Set your mind on growth, not fear. On service, not selfishness. You do not require perfect conditions to live positively. You only need a willing heart and a consistent practice. If you begin each day with this mindset, you will notice the people around you responding differently. Your work will flow more freely, and your burdens will feel lighter. Why? Because you are different. You have elected to start strong, to lead yourself before guiding others, and to cultivate light before confronting darkness. In doing so, you embody the essence of positive living. This is the hidden power of early rising, not just productivity or discipline, but the ability to choose your spirit each day. When you choose positivity, you select a light that elevates both yourself and others. Rise early, rise in gratitude, rise empowered, and let your life resonate in all that you do. Early mornings nurture continuous learning. Continuous learning is not merely a virtue, it serves as the foundation of advancement. No one ascends the ladder of success without feeding their mind, sharpening their intellect, and expanding the limits of their knowledge. And there is no hour more suitable for this sacred pursuit than the early morning. When the world remains quiet, your mind can soak up information, reflect, and grow. During this serene time, your intellect is most open, receptive, and alive. Each early morning invites you to expand. If you accept that invitation consistently, you will become unstoppable. When you dedicate your mornings to learning, you are not merely gathering information. You are constructing the mindset of a leader. You train your thoughts to be clear, your decisions to be sound, and your perspective to be broad. This is not a momentary endeavor. It requires daily commitment to your personal evolution. Let me speak candidly. The men and women who rise to greatness treat their minds with respect. They study not solely for personal gain, but for growth. They journal not just to document, but to comprehend. They reflect not only to remember, but to awaken wisdom. Galileo, who began each day with study and solitude, dared to question what others accepted without thought. His mornings were devoted to nurturing the intellect that would ultimately move the stars. He did not wait for ideal circumstances. He created them by beginning his day with disciplined inquiry. Sor Juana Inés de la Cruz, a woman whose thirst for knowledge defied the limitations of her time, utilized the silence of dawn to read, write, and challenge societal assumptions. The early hours were her sanctuary for learning, and from that foundation, her brilliance flourished. When you rise early and dedicate that time to reading influential works, recording your insights, or reflecting on your past experiences, you plant seeds of greatness. One idea read in silence may become the strategy that ultimately transforms your career. One insight captured in your journal can serve as a guiding light through tumultuous times. The mind, akin to the body, requires exercise. When left idle, it will wither. But with daily training, it becomes sharp, agile, and decisive. The best time to hone it is when the day is new, before life's demands flood your thoughts and dilute your focus. Let your morning be a classroom, with your desk serving as a place of transformation and your journal as your companion on this journey. Read not solely for entertainment, but to elevate your mind. Write not just to organize your thoughts, but to discover them. Reflect not only on what has occurred, but also on what must transpire. Learning is not reserved solely for the young, it is the practice of the wise. As long as you breathe, you possess the potential for growth. When you dedicate your full attention to that growth each morning, you begin each day with the momentum of mastery. Consider Johann Sebastian Bach, who initiated his mornings by composing, experimenting, and learning from every sound and silence. He did not rely solely on innate talent. He nurtured it through hours of deliberate practice at dawn. You too are not restricted by what you inherit. You are empowered by what you choose to construct. Do not seek comfort in repetition. Seek expansion. Read works that challenge you. Write that reveal your inner self, and question what confines you. This is the essence of morning learning. It sharpens your edges, deepens your understanding, and aligns your mind with your mission. As the sun rises, let its light find you engaged in study. Permit it to illuminate the pages of your book, the lines of your journal, and the corners of your mind where untapped potential awaits discovery. Each morning can become a chapter in your personal education, a ritual of self-improvement that builds upon each passing day. The leaders of history did not merely respond to life, they understood it. That understanding was born from quiet hours, dedicated to the pursuit of knowledge. Yours will be too. Make this commitment. Each morning, before the world's noise begins, I will rise to learn, I will read, I will write, and I will think, thereby rising not simply from my bed, but into a greater version of myself. This is the path of those who are learned, of those who are strong, and of those who achieve success. Early rising enhances self-belief. Self-belief is not a product of wishful thinking. It is not a gift granted at birth or bestowed by others. It is earned, built brick by brick, through consistent action, ongoing commitment, and disciplined living. There is no action more profound, no evidence more convincing than your daily choice to rise early in pursuit of a higher version of yourself. Each morning, as you step out of bed while the world still sleeps, you are communicating to the deepest part of your soul. I believe in myself enough to take action. I believe in my goals enough to begin anew. This daily choice becomes your evidence, undeniable and personal, affirming that you are deserving of the life you envision. Self-belief does not spring from stagnation. It emerges from movement. Each early morning that you rise with intention adds to the wellspring of confidence within you. You begin to trust yourself, not merely in theory, but in practice, because your actions validate your dedication. Think of Michael Faraday, the esteemed experimental scientist who began each day with methodical focus in his laboratory. He did not rely on grand gestures or public acclaim. His belief in his capabilities was nurtured through many hours of unnoticed work, consistently showing up, building momentum, and honing his mastery. Or consider Fanny Mendelssohn, a composer and pianist who practiced at dawn, long before anyone else stirred. Her brilliance was not handed to her, it was earned through steadfast commitment. Her self-belief flourished not through accolades, but from the quiet strength of knowing she had devoted herself once again to her craft. When you rise early and dedicate those sacred hours to growth, you train more than your mind. You cultivate your spirit. With each passing day, doubts quieten and questions fade as your actions speak louder than words. You no longer need to ask, "Can I become the person I wish to be?" For with each morning, you are becoming one disciplined act at a time. Like an athlete who trains before dawn, you condition yourself for victory. You lay the foundation of belief, not through force, but through repetition. Understand this truth. Confidence is not something you wait for. It is something you build. Your early morning routine is your blueprint. Each act of rising early is a small promise fulfilled. A promise that declares, I will not settle for less. I will not betray my purpose. I will take responsibility for my life. When you keep this promise to yourself repeatedly, what else can you do but believe? Do not underestimate the significance of this quiet ritual. The world may not see it. There are no fanfares when you rise before dawn. But you know, and that knowing transforms your identity. You shift from viewing yourself as a bystander to becoming a leader. You transition from being a mere dreamer to an active doer. With each passing morning, your self-image evolves, from dreamer to achiever, from wanderer to warrior. Allow your mornings to serve as a sacred declaration. I am not afraid of effort. I am not afraid of solitude. I am not afraid to pursue what others evade. Because I believe that my future is crafted by my actions, not by mere wishes. As the sun rises, so does your belief. You awaken not solely from bed, but into a deeper understanding of your strength. You begin to carry yourself differently. You speak with certainty and live as someone who trusts their own path. Your confidence builds not in sudden breakthroughs, but through a consistent alignment with your values. It does not reside in monumental moments, but in daily progress toward your highest potential. So wake early, show up, do what matters, and observe how, day by day, your inner belief solidifies into an unshakable force. This is the path of the self-made, the quietly strong, who say, I do not wait for permission. I prove my worth through my actions. Let this morning and every morning be your evidence. Evidence that you are capable, deserving, and ready. Let that evidence stoke the fire of belief that will guide you toward everything you were born to achieve. Early rising encourages adaptability. Life is not linear. It flows like a river, meandering and unpredictable, full of sudden twists and unforeseen currents. Those who succeed are not those who resist change, but rather those who adjust their sails with grace and determination. And there is no better training ground for adaptability than the early morning. Each morning you rise before the world awakens. You enter a realm of potential, a space devoid of obligation and chaos. In this space, you learn to shape your day rather than be shaped by it. You become the sculptor of your life instead of remaining a mere sculpted figure. Through this daily practice, you prepare yourself to navigate changes, not with fear, but with calm, creative readiness. Adaptability is not just a reaction, it is a mindset. It embodies the ability to remain steady when the winds shift. As with all qualities, adaptability must be cultivated. By waking early, you grant yourself the unique opportunity to engage in this training, building the mental and emotional flexibility essential for thriving in a dynamic world. Reflect on Mansa Musa, the great emperor of Mali. His journey through unfamiliar territories and interactions with diverse cultures demanded not only vision, but also adaptability. He did not shy away from the unknown. He utilized it as a platform to showcase his leadership. Leadership honed through quiet, strategic contemplation, moments often found in the early solitude before his court stirred. Similarly, consider Clara Barton, the founder of the American Red Cross, who confronted the unpredictable disarray of war zones and disaster sites. Her capacity to organize relief efforts and provide comfort sprung not from a routine, but from resilience through adaptability. And that adaptability was sustained by her unwavering morning discipline, grounding her even in tumultuous times. Every morning you rise early, you receive a rehearsal for life itself. You do not know what the day will bring. Some days flow seamlessly, while others challenge you at every turn. But when you meet the morning on your own terms, calm, focused, and ready, you communicate a powerful message to life. I will not be thrown off course. I will bend, but I will not break. I will adapt, and I will withstand. Start your morning by checking in with yourself. What requires adjustment? What plans must shift? What energy do you bring today? And how can you utilize it effectively? When you pose these questions daily, you form a habit of awareness, and awareness becomes the seed from which adaptability flourishes. Flexibility is not weakness. It is intelligent strength. Like bamboo that bends in the wind yet remains unbroken, so too can you remain grounded while changing course. Early mornings provide the ideal setting to practice this strength, revising your schedule, shifting your focus, adjusting your goals before the world demands it of you. In these hours, you have the luxury of time for reflection, pivoting, and preparation. You are not rushing, you are responding. There is tremendous power in response over reaction. The early riser becomes not a servant to circumstance, but a master of it. Change is not your foe, it is your greatest opportunity. Each time life shifts unexpectedly, it unveils your readiness or your need to become more prepared. Every early morning is your chance to prepare. Let your morning routine serve as a flexible framework. Incorporate your practices, journaling, reading, movement, but remain open to modification. Some days may require silence, others may demand speed. Some mornings you may delve deep into reflection, others may call for decisive action. The key is not rigidity, but intentional flow. Allow the morning to train your mind to stay receptive to new paths, strategies, and opportunities. Let it remind you that no plan is final and no obstacle is insurmountable. Your strength lies not in stubbornness, but in your ability to evolve. Each time you adapt, you grow. Each time you adjust your plan without losing sight of your purpose, you mature. With this mindset, each morning you rise reinforces your capacity to thrive in a world that never ceases to change. The future belongs to the adaptable, and the early morning is where they are forged. So tomorrow, as the sky begins to lighten, rise. Take a deep breath and step into the unknown with confidence. Adjust your stance, refine your aim, and remember, in your willingness to adapt lies your greatest strength, your clearest advantage, and your most reliable path to success. Early mornings stimulate your relationships. Success is rarely a solitary pursuit. Behind every significant achievement lies a network of meaningful connections, relationships built not on convenience, but intention. One of the most potent ways to nurture these relationships is through early rising. When your mind is clear, your heart is open, and your thoughts align with your highest values. The early morning offers a sacred space, a time when clarity prevails and distractions are absent. In these hours, you have the unique opportunity to reflect on your goals and your relationships. Who do you need to connect with today? Who deserves your gratitude? What difficult conversation have you been delaying? The morning grants you the composure to ponder these questions with wisdom and grace. Consider Frederick Douglass, who carved out early hours for reading, writing, and reflection amidst considerable struggle. His communication became a source of empowerment, and his words changed hearts. But those words were not conceived in chaos. They were shaped in solitude, thoughtful preparation, and the quiet discipline of early mornings. Similarly, think of Elizabeth Barrett Browning, who began each day by composing letters and poetry that touched many lives. Her expressions of love, empathy, and insight were sharpened in the stillness before the world stirred. When you wake early, you grant yourself the time to prepare your emotional energy. Rather than reacting throughout the day, you can choose to lead with thoughtfulness. You can plan how to uplift a colleague, express appreciation to a partner, or check in on a friend. Such gestures are foundational. Each relationship you cultivate becomes a net that supports your rise. Early mornings offer the chance to strengthen each thread of that net, deliberately, consistently, and meaningfully. Use this time to draft encouraging notes, recall recent acts of kindness, and reflect on misunderstandings, rehearsing calmer, more thoughtful responses. In doing so, you train yourself to lead with empathy, not ego. From this place, all relationships flourish. The early riser is more productive and presence is the rarest and most valuable gift one can offer in any relationship. When you give someone your undivided attention, rooted in clarity, you uplift them, ensuring they feel seen and valued. Let your mornings transform into a workshop of connection. Ask yourself, who in my life needs encouragement? Where can I bring harmony? What act of generosity can I offer today? When these questions initiate your day, your relationships evolve from being incidental into purposeful bonds. Create space to reflect. Journal about your interactions. Recognize patterns. Identify where you are fully present and where you may be holding back. Reflection is not self-criticism. It is self-alignment. It allows you to enter each relationship with transparency, humility, and presence. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe valued correspondence and reflective thought as guiding principles in his daily rhythm. His early hours were spent writing letters and documenting insights, not just to enhance his intellect, but to deepen his connections. You too can utilize these precious hours to construct stronger, more fulfilling relationships. The greatest leaders are not those who dominate. They are those who genuinely connect, and connection starts with intention. By nurturing your inner world before stepping into the outer one, you present your best self to those around you. Early mornings provide this opportunity to respond instead of react, to listen instead of presume, to express instead of suppress. From this practice, deeper bonds, a wider circle of influence, and a life rich in relationships that propel your ascent will arise. So tomorrow, as you rise before the sun, take a moment to think about those who matter to you. Contemplate the bridges you need to build, the words you need to share, and the love you need to demonstrate. Do so intentionally, graciously, and before the world rushes in to distract you. When you use the morning to nurture your relationships, you are not merely orchestrating harmony. You are building the emotional wealth that will carry you further than any solitary effort ever could. Rise early, lead with love, and witness the transformation of your world, one relationship at a time. Early rising fuels consistent action. Greatness does not arise from moments of inspiration. It is built through consistency. It is not what you do once in a while that shapes your life, but rather what you consistently do day after day. The most fertile soil for this daily commitment lies in the early morning, when your world is quiet, your mind is clear, and your purpose unfolds before you like an open road. When you rise early and embark on your day with intention, you establish a rhythm, a personal cadence that orchestrates your actions, anchors your habits, and accelerates your growth. These early hours serve as the workshop of consistency. They are the proving ground of commitment. Each morning you choose to act, you lay another stone on the path toward your destiny. Consistency may not be glamorous or thrilling, but it is potent. Much like a craftsman shaping wood or carving stone, you shape your future through repetition, steady hands, and concentrated effort. One day's work may not yield immediate, visible results, but day after day, week after week, the masterpiece begins to reveal itself. Think of Immanuel Kant, who adhered to a stringent daily routine that included early morning walks alongside dedicated time for writing and reflection. His commitment to daily discipline enabled him to produce philosophical works that influenced generations. His mind became sharp not merely through flashes of genius, but through reliable structure and unwavering output. Likewise, consider Louisa May Alcott, who rose early to write, even while burdened by illness and financial pressures. Her consistency in those precious morning hours birthed stories that continue to inspire readers worldwide. Her words were not forced, they were forged one morning at a time. When you rise with the sun, you overcome the resistance that afflicts most individuals. You initiate your day before hesitation can take root. You move while others linger. You create while others hesitate. Each time you choose to act early, you build trust in yourself. Not only that you can act, but that you will follow through. Consistency serves as the bridge between your aspirations and the outcomes you realize. Without it, dreams remain intangible. With it, they materialize. Step by step, line by line, brick by brick, and the early morning offers you the chance to lay those bricks in silence, without disruption, with complete focus. Use this time to renew your commitment to your purpose. Identify one action, no matter how small, that propels you forward, and execute it. Write that page. Master that lesson. Review your plan. Reflect on your progress. When these actions become your daily rhythm, success is no longer a question of if, but rather when. These actions may seem minor in isolation, but when compounded over time, they culminate into monumental outcomes. You do not need to revolutionize your life in a single day. You merely need to ensure today matters. Then rise and do it again. The farmer who tills the soil each morning does not doubt the harvest. He knows the results stem from consistent effort. So too is your approach to your goals. Nourish them daily, tend to them consistently, and one day you will gaze up and see what you have built, not due to luck, but through persistent effort. Allow your early mornings to act as a sacred contract with yourself. No matter what lies ahead in the day, these hours are dedicated to my mission. This is when I advance. This is when I demonstrate to the world, and to myself, that I am not merely a dreamer, but a doer. Consistency shapes character. It forms identity. Identity shapes destiny. A person who acts each morning with purpose becomes unstoppable, not because their journey is without obstacles, but because their discipline remains unyielding. So rise, to not merely start your day, but to construct your life. Rise not just to endure it, but to progress towards something greater. Allow your actions, repeated in the quiet of the morning, to establish the rhythm of your success. While others rely on sporadic bursts of motivation, you will depend on your commitment. Let those others wait for inspiration. You will commence with action. In doing so, you will distinguish yourself, not through force, but through consistency. One early morning at a time, one step at a time, one victory at a time. This is how dreams become realities. This is how ordinary days give birth to extraordinary lives. And it all commences with one choice: rise early, act consistently, and never cease in your pursuit of becoming. Your greatness begins with each sunrise.